Hello, I'm going to do a Majolica vase. I think I could call it a jar because it is possible. The pedigree of this jar is an Albarello and it would have a clay lid or a cork lid or a wooden lid. So I don't actually think this ever would have been used for keeping food in or liquids in. And when it comes to pottery in Sicily, Girone is the place everyone talks about, right in the middle. There was the habit of having jugs for dry foods. We all assume when we have coffee or sugar or flour, you have a jar and a spoon. But in Sicily, they had jugs for dry things as well as wet things. That's just a factoid. So we have this vase, this jar, and the first comment is it's slightly wonky. It's leaning one way, and this is the essence really of Majolica in the marketplace. It's trying to what it's trying to portray is rural peasant life. That's what it's trying to portray. It's not fine. It wouldn't have been in a palace, or wouldn't have been used by wealthy individuals or clerics or landowners. It's basic. It's the most basic pottery. And I mean pottery as in the most basic clay. It's not porcelain. It's the same material they make tiles for roofs out of, or bricks. And this is the character which the dealers like and the collectors like. And when it comes to Majolica or faience or tin glaze, this is usually the thing people want. You can get fine Majolica, like Mintons in England make fine Majolica. Bermontoft to make fine Majolica, where everything is very, very neat and tidy. But generally, Majolica and faience and tin glazed pottery is meant to be sort of rural and crude and homemade and sort of things you'd find on farms and villages. It's not urbanised mass production. It's still small time production of pottery. And the things like the problem with Majolica is it is very hard to date. I find it very, very hard to date. And when I have experts tell me how old things are, I'm really not convinced on the whole. I think it's riddled with incorrect markets, riddled with incorrect information, and a lot of bogus stuff, much more bogus stuff than you would want to even contemplate. So when I'm dating things, I'm really being careful. This here, I think, would be described by most people as a Victorian pot, and it could be a Victorian pot. Really could be a Victorian pot, but I think it's going to be 1920 or 30, and I think it would have gone to a tourist or a household in Sicily. There might have been a pair of them, for example, for a mantelpiece. And the reason I think it is that age is because there's not much wear on the bottom. That's not a good piece of advice to look for that, but it is something that is part of you need six senses. It's like buying Chinese pottery. You need to have six senses. You're feeling it, you're looking at it, you're looking at the style, you're looking at the wear, you're listening to the sound. That shows it's not damaged internally, no cracks, no repairs. There's not a lot of wear on the bottom. There is significant apparent wear on the rim, but that can be made to look like that. So what I'm doing by dating it 1920, 1930s, I'm thinking about the likely age, not the age I want it to be. I want it to be an early one, but it's not an early one. It hasn't got that lustrous glaze, and it hasn't got the right shape. That's quite a late bulbous shape. If it was shaped like an Albarello, straight sides or curved sides, then I would be starting to think it was earlier. The glaze has run, that's nice. The colour are the right colours. I'm not sure if it's Girone or not. I think it could be, but I think it might not be. It could be mainland Italian. I've noticed on this one you have only colour on the front, nothing on the back. And I've noticed it has only the coloured trim on this part of the rim. I always consider that quite unusual. That's really the limit of my knowledge. And I think that it's very nice stuff to have. I like it immensely. When you put it next to a wedgewood vase, for example, the wedgewood vases are beautiful things and very well made, but they're extremely characterless. If you put it next to a Meissen vase, or a vase from Limoges, or a vase from Noritake, they are utterly characterless, mass-produced products, one after another, made the same. And the other thing about the Wedgwood and the Meissen and the Dresden and much of the Limoges stuff is it's made out of liquefied pottery. It's not made by a potter. This is made on a spinning wheel by a potter, and you can see the finger marks on the outside. You can see the finger marks all the way up the inside. The porcelain is made in a mould, plaster mould. They take the plaster mould like a clam. It has a hollow insides. They stick it together. They pour liquefied clay into it. They fill it with liquefied clay. They let it set, and on the exterior of the liquid, that part sticks to the plaster. And then what they do is they pour out the wet bit that's left. They open up the mould, and they have two halves, and they just trim off where the moulds meet. And that's how they make a teapot, that's how they make a vase, that's how they make a teacup. They stick the handles on, they stick the spout on, and it's mass production, and every one is the same size. If there was another one of these, it would be slightly higher, slightly lower. The hand painting is spontaneous. Okay, I hope that's been interesting. Thank you.